Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and for today's video I'm going to show you how I made this sweater. So this is Anri sweater that I made, and I'm really excited to share this with you guys. So let's go ahead and start.
Alright guys, so for the materials, we're going to use a sport weight yarn. So for me, I'm using Crochet by Curry's 12 ply fine cotton yarn. So any sport weight yarn will do. And I also use a 4mm hook, pair of scissors, 4 stitch markers, and yarn needle. For the yarn, just want to share, this is not the color that I use for this tutorial, but you need at least 2 cakes or 600 to 700 grams for a large to extra large size. For a quick part of this tutorial, you will also need this and a smaller size book. For the measurement guys, so I'm gonna take measurement A, so that's the bust size, bust circumference divided by 2. So example 38 divided by 2, I have 19 inches. So take that. For measurement B, just disregard this for now. I'm going to give you how many rows you need for the measurement B. And then measurement C, for your armhole, arm circumference divided by 2. So example 13 divided by 2 equals 6.5 inches. And for measurement D, it's the sleeve length. So this is, you can measure however long you want your sleeves. So now we can start. So grab your yarn and the 4mm hook, and then we're going to start. So the pattern will be simple for the rest of the tutorial. So start with a slip stitch, alright, and chain the number that you need to until you have your measurement A. The number should be multiple of 3. So I'm gonna flash here on the screen the number that you need for size, but if you need to adjust, at least you know how many chains you need to add so you can have your own measurement. You can follow the number that is on the screen, or you can just measure your own. Just remember that you have your measurement A. So I'm gonna chain 96 because that's what I need for my size until I get my measurement A. So if you're using a different size hook, it's also important that you know how to take your own size instead of just following the numbers that is on the screen. So I'm just gonna chain 96 and I'll meet you. Okay guys, and once you have the number, you are going to continue for row 1. Our pattern will be V-stitch, double crochet, 2 together, or double crochet, 2 together, V-stitch. So I'm gonna skip 5 stitches or 5 chains. So not including the one on your hook, you're going to skip 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then on the 6th chain from your hook, we're going to make the V-stitch, 2 double crochet together. So how to do that? Yarn over, and then on the 6th chain, I also want to make the stitch on the back loop. So instead of using this one loop here, I'm going to turn my chain and find that back bump that you see here. So we'll use that. Insert your hook, yarn over, pull through. So you have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through 2. Now you have 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over, insert in the same stitch or same loop. Yarn over, pull through. You're gonna have 4 loops on your hook. We're going to yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through 2. Pull through all 3 loops, like so. So that's your first double crochet 2 together. We're gonna chain 1, and then we're gonna do this one more time in the same space. Okay, so yarn over, insert your hook in the same space. Yarn over, pull through. Yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over, insert your hook. Yarn over, pull through, 4 loops on the hook. Yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. That creates your V stitch, 2 double crochet together. Okay, so now we're just gonna continue. We're not making any chains. We're going to skip 2. So this is 1, 2, and on the third we're going to do the V stitch again. So yarn over. I'm just gonna repeat that, guys. So back loop or back bump. Okay, pull through 2. Oops. Yarn over, insert, pull through. Yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through all 3. Chain 1. Same stitch or same loop. Yarn over, insert, pull through. Yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, insert, pull through 2, and pull through all 3 loops, like so. So now you have 2 V stitches plus this one, the one that we skipped, is also a chain, a double crochet, skip 2. Okay, so this one includes. I would like you to add a stitch marker on top of the chain. Okay, like so. And now you're just gonna continue until you have 3 more loops on remaining. So there you go, guys. Now you should have 3 more loops on your hook. So we're gonna skip 1, 2, and then make 1 double crochet in the last loop. Alright, so that ends our first row. For row 2, we're gonna chain 3. Chain 3 counts as your first double crochet. And then we're gonna turn our work. Now we can continue making our V stitch here in the chain space, in the chain 1 space of the V stitch. So yarn over, insert your hook in the chain 1 space and make a V stitch. So yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and pull through 3. That's your first double crochet 2 together. Chain 1, and we're going to make another 2 double crochet together, like so. Okay, now it's just gonna be a repeat of V-stitch inside the chain 1 space. Just continue with this until you reach the very end of the row. Here guys, at the very end, I'm gonna meet you once you reach the end of the row. Alright guys, and now we are going to finish the row by making 1 double crochet on top of the last or this first chain here. So yarn over, insert your hook, there's a chain, so remember this is a chain 5, so the 5th chain right here. Go through, and there you go. Now for row 3, until the number of rows that you're going to see on the screen, until you reach that, you're going to repeat row 2. So chain 3, turn your work, and then make 1 V-stitch in each chain 1 space. So I'm gonna continue that. There are a number of rows on the screen, so just make sure that you end up with those number for your size. Just a reminder, if you want your sweater to be longer than what the number that you have on the screen, so if for example, if you have a total of row 30 and it's still not the length that you want, so that number on the screen should be from the top of your nipple area until the length that you want for your sweater. So if you make the number of rows on this screen and it still doesn't reach that, you can add more rows if you want, or if it's bigger or longer than what you want for your sweater, then you just need to make rows a lit less rows. Okay, so I'm just gonna continue making my V stitches until I reach the row that I want. Okay, so once you've reached that measurement, we are going to find the center. So mine, I have the center here and I put a stitch marker. To find the center, just count the V stitch. So I have here 16 V stitches and 16 V stitches, and here is the center. So just add a stitch marker and we're just going to continue the pattern right here. So just continue the pattern until you have 2 V stitches left. Okay guys, so now I have 2 V stitches left. So on this last one, I'm still gonna make 1 V stitch, second to the last V stitch, and on the last stitch we're just going to make 1 double crochet in that chain space. Like so. That's our first decrease, so the next row will be no decrease. So we're going to continue chain 3, 1, 2, 3, turn your work, make a pattern here. So just double crochet cluster two together. Like so. And just I'm gonna continue doing that until I reach the end of the row, and then I'm gonna go back. And I'm done with row 2. For row 3, guys, it's going to be a decrease row again. So we're just gonna continue with the pattern because we're only decreasing in the center. So I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, turn your work, and continue with the pattern again until you have 2 V-stitch left. Okay guys, so I have here 2 more V-stitches. I'm gonna make 1 more V-stitch to the second to the last stitch. Okay, and in the last stitch here, we're going to skip 1, 2, and 3 stitches and make 1 double crochet in the last stitch here. So yarn over and then make your last double crochet here. And that's the end of your row 3. And now you're just going to continue making row 2 and row 3. So repeat row 2 and row 3 until you reach the number of rows for your size. So for me, I'm in the large size, so I'm going to continue until I have a total of 31 rows. Alright guys, so I've completed my decrease for this side. So as you can see, I decrease, and this is a total of 32 rows of the pattern, and I ended with a with the non-decrease row. So I'm just gonna finish the row. So chain 1, cut the yarn, and finish off. Alright, so now guys, we are going to continue. So this is your right side, and we're going to continue by doing the other side decrease. Okay, so remember we decreased on the first row, so we're going to decrease as well. So this is how we're going to do this. So to decrease, we're just gonna follow. So we're making 1 double crochet in the first chain space. So here, so grab your yarn and attach it. And then chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Then just continue making the rows. So in the next stitch, just make your pattern of double crochet cluster two together V-stitch, like so. I'm gonna continue doing this until I reach the end of my row. Okay, so first row is done. Now I'm just gonna continue row 2, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, turn your work, going to continue with the pattern until you have two until you have one more V-stitch. Okay, so remember guys that row 2 is a non-decrease row, so we're still going to continue with making the last one V-stitch, and then make one double crochet in on top of the first double crochet, like so. And now on row 3 it's gonna be a decrease row, so it's gonna be different because we're making the decrease in the first stitch. So chain 2. Chain 2 doesn't count as a stitch. Let's turn our work. And make one double crochet here. Skip 1, 2 and make the double crochet here. Like so. So it doesn't count as a stitch. This is your first double crochet, and now we'll just continue with the pattern. Make one V-stitch in each chain 1 space, like so. This is your last stitch, guys, so I suggest that you add a stitch marker. There you go. So this is row 3. I'm gonna continue working on this row until I finish the end of the row. Okay guys, so here is my third row. I finished, so I'm gonna chain 3 and turn my work, and we'll start with our row 4. So this is a non-decrease row, so I'm just gonna continue making the pattern until I reach one more V-stitch left. Okay guys, so I'm going to make one more. And on top of the stitch marker, we're going to make one double crochet. That's row 4, and now I'm going to repeat row 3 and row 4 until I reach the number of rows I need for my size, which is again the same on this side. Alright guys, so I finished with my row. I finished with a row 4, or the non-decrease row, so you should always finish with a non-decrease row or an even number. So the even number is always the wrong side. So to continue, we are just going to finish this panel with the edging. So I'm just gonna turn my work, because again we are on the wrong side, right? So chain 1, turn your work, and now you are on the right side of your panel. Okay, now guys, we're just making one single crochet in each stitch across. So I'm gonna show you. So chain 1 and then I turn right. So this one, let's make 1 single crochet. So insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, and yarn over, pull through 2. That's your chain 1. And then this is a stitch. Insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. In the chain space, you insert your hook and make 1 single crochet. So you just continue doing that. Chain 1 here. Oh, insert your hook and make 1 single crochet. Here, insert 1 single crochet, and then chain 1 space. You're also making 1 single crochet. Okay, I'm just gonna continue doing this, guys, until I reach the very end of this row. Okay, so I'm at the very last stitch, so don't forget to add a single crochet on top of the chain 3. And here is the chain 3. Okay, so now we're done on this side. We are going to turn our work like this. So we finished on the chain 3. On this side, we still need to make 1 more single crochet on that, because that is the first space of the side. Okay, so insert your hook in the same stitch. There's a small space right here, and make a single crochet. So that's your first single crochet on this side. Now you'll see a big space. You just make 1 single crochet, find a small space right there, make 1 single crochet, a big space. So each row has a small and a big space. So instead of making 2 single crochet in the big space, make 1 in the small space and 1 in the big space, right? So just continue working on that, just 1 single crochet in each space on the side. Okay, so I'm gonna continue working with mine, and I'll meet you once you reach the top or the bottom part of the panel. Okay, I'm gonna continue until I reach here. Okay, so I just continued and I reached the bottom part. Now we'll continue making 1 more single crochet at the top of this very last stitch. Okay, and we are going to turn our work again. So this time we're working on the bottom part of the panel. So I'm just gonna continue again. This is just single crochet, so let's make 2 single crochet in this big space. Okay, so let's work on top of this tail. So that's 1 and 2, right? Now in the chain space, or in this chain or stitch, we'll just make 1 single crochet, like so. Here, this is a chain 2 space, so we need to make 2 single crochet. 1 and 2. Right? And then again here, 1 single crochet. another chain 2 space, 2 single crochets, 1 and 2. So here we'll just continue doing this again until we reach the last stitch. And then we'll just continue on the other side. We're not yet done. We'll continue on the other side. So make the same single crochet here, the same as what you did on this side, remember? So just continue making single crochets, and then you'll reach again the top. So this is the other side of the panel, and then make 1 single crochet, and I'll meet you once you reach here where we decrease the panel. Okay, so just continue making your single crochet. Okay guys, so I've reached again the center, so I'm gonna make 1 single crochet here, and I'm gonna show you how I do that. Just turn your work like this. So I finished in the last on top of the double crochet here, or the chain 3. So we're going to make 1 single crochet in each space again. So let's make 1 more in the corner, 1 in the space, that's a big space right there, and then we have here another space. Just make 1 single crochet, and then there should be another big space. So just make, okay, and then another space right here. Okay, so make sure that every space will have a single crochet. So big space right here, another space. So it's gonna be hard to see with a decrease here, so just make 1 over there, you can pull it like that so you can see the spaces. And so just continue around the neck part. So this is the neck part until you reach the very first stitch or single crochet that you made for the corner. Alright guys, so I've already reached the very first single crochet. So now I am going to make a slip stitch to finish the row. So insert your hook in the very first single crochet that you made for the corner, yarn over and pull through the loops. Okay, chain 1 and cut your yarn to finish off. Alright guys, so this is how our front panel should look like. So you have here the neck part, and there. Now you create the back panel. So for the back panel, it's just the same number of stitches and without the neck part. So it's just gonna be a rectangle. So if you create the back panel, this is how it should look like. This big square or rectangle like this. So continue making that, and make sure that it's not upside down, so the V-stitch will be showing like this. and not like this. Okay, so make sure that it has the same number of stitches. The rows, the chains and the rows would be the same, and then you add the corner with a single crochet around the edge like that. So create your back panel. Once you have your front and back panel, I am going to show you how we're going to attach the panels. So you see guys, I have here the back panel. I'm going to flip it. I'm working. So the inside of the back panel is facing upward. This is the right side. So this is the inside of the back panel. You'll be able to see that with the stitch that you made, or the single crochet stitch that you made in the corner. So this is the back side and this is the front side. So back side facing you, and for the front panel, right side should be facing you. So here, this is the front side, as you can see, with the single crochet in the corner. This is the back side, this is the front side. And then just gonna lay them down flat together like so, and we're going to sew this part, this one, and the side part, leaving the armhole. So remember the measurement of the armhole. Just take that and we're going to leave the hole, the space here. So what I'm gonna do to make sure that I have the right number of stitches to sew this together is to use my stitch markers. So you'll need at least 6 stitch markers. So I'm gonna count the number of stitches on top of the first or the front panel. So count the number of stitches, count the number of stitches here, and we're going to add the stitch marker at the top. So here, this is my first stitch. I'm going to find the first stitch here as well. There should be the first stitch. So I'm gonna count the top first. So I counted 32. Let me just put this right here. And I'm gonna count from here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm gonna take this and add that there. So there, that is what I'm gonna sew together. And then on the side, do this on the other side, of course. And then let me show you how we'll do it here on the side. So take your measurement. So remember the measurement of your armhole. Okay, mine is 6.5 inches. So I'm gonna measure just the first panel. So measure it. So I have 6.5. So right until here. So let me add a stitch marker. And then I'm gonna count from the top until here. Just this, just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 23. So here's my 23 for the back panel. I'm gonna attach this using my stitch marker. And I have here my armhole. So that's how you're going to do this. Make sure that you have the right, like so. Right? Make sure it's laying nice and flat so you'll get the exact measurement. So 6.5 on the other end. I didn't have to measure it. I just counted the number of stitches on both panels. So do that on the other side as well. And remember, we're just working on the right side, so you don't need to work on the wrong side, guys. So I'm just gonna flip this. I'm going to start at the top or the shoulder part of my panels. So with this, I'm going to use a invisible sewing technique. So okay. And now in the first stitch, insert your hook from inside out, and on the other panel, insert your hook inside out as well. Okay. On the other side, so the next stitch, this is the first stitch, next stitch from inside out. Next stitch, inside out. So I'd like to make like 4 to 5 stitches before I pull it. Okay, so I have 4, this is 5, and then I'm gonna pull it. So that's already close. Now we'll just continue. Make at least 4 to 5 stitches before you pull. Alright guys, I've already reached the last stitch. I'm just gonna remove it, pull it tight, and of course we're just going to finish off by making a knot. Okay, so you finished the round. So just to be sure and make it secured, just make another knot and then sew your ends, your end. You weave your end and then cut the yarn. So I'm done on this part of the panel. I'm going to continue doing the same technique on the side, of course, from bottom or from top to bottom, and as well on the other side, and from top to bottom. So once you have the panels together, sewn together, we're going to continue with the sleeves. Okay guys, and now I've completed the sewing part. Now I'm going to show you how to make the sleeves part. So I already made this side because it's just gonna be the same pattern on both sides. So this is how my sleeve looks like, and until the end. Now I'm going to show you how to do that here. So in the armhole that you made, we're going to find the bottom part of the armhole. So I need you to, if you still haven't weave the end together, now is the time to weave this, so you can work on the sleeve better. Okay, so I'm going to grab my yarn and the hook. So it's still going to be the same size of yarn and hook. Find the very bottom part of the armhole. Okay, so here's the armhole. We're going to find, this is the center part of the armhole. So just find a stitch. So here I'm going to attach my yarn and chain 3. Chain 3 counts as your first double crochet, like so. After the chain 3, we're going to continue with the pattern of skipping 2 stitches and then making 1 V-stitch in the next stitch. So chain 3, yarn over, skip 2. So this is 1, 2, and then in the third chain or stitch, we're going to make 1 V-stitch. Now, and then again, skip 2, 1 V-stitch. So it's just gonna be the same pattern around the armhole. Okay, so I'm gonna continue doing that same pattern. So there are stitches that you can see, and here there are the stitches. So you're just gonna continue that around the armhole, and once you reach the end, you're going to skip, or we're going to make a slip stitch. I'm gonna show you how to do that. Okay guys, so as you can see, I am almost done. I just have 2 stitches left, so I'm going to skip that and make a slip stitch on top of the chain 3, or the very first chain 3 that I made. So insert your hook in the third chain, yarn over, and pull through the yarns. So we're going to continue the same pattern, chain 3, and then make chain 3 counts as your first stitch, and then you're going to make 1 V-stitch in each chain 1 space around, and then slip stitch in every round, in every end of the round, to finish your row. Okay guys, so I already completed my sleeve. So this is a total of 30 rows. My 30 rows is a total of 16.5 inches. So if you need a shorter sleeve, then you just need to make fewer rows, and if you need longer, just add more. So I have 30 rows of this pattern. Okay guys, so now I am going to add 1 more row for the edging, and to do that, just chain 3. Okay, this counts as your first stitch, and then on the chain space of the V-stitch, we're going to make 5 double crochet. So yarn over, insert your hook in the chain space and make double crochet, and then make 4 more double crochets, all in one space. 2, 3, 4, and 5. After that, make 1 single crochet in the next chain space. Like so. And in the next, make another 5 double crochet in the same space. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, and then again in the next, 1 single crochet. So just continue doing that in each space. So 5 double crochet, next space 1 single crochet, next space 5 double crochet, single crochet, 5 double crochets, and so on until you reach the end of the row, and then you'll slip stitch on top of the first chain 3. Alright guys, so now I am in the last chain space. So I made 5 double crochets, so regardless if you finished with a single crochet, that's fine. And then you're gonna end with a slip stitch on top of the third chain. 1, 2, 3. I'm just gonna make a slip stitch, insert your hook, and slip stitch. Now you finished your sleeve, so you're just gonna end by chain 1 and then cut your yarn and finish off. Okay guys, so for the hood, we're going to find the center of our neck part. So remember, this is the center, so you just need to find the center that you had earlier when you made the decrease row. So it's gonna be the same center, so find the center and the V-stitch on the side of the center. So here's the center of my work, and I have here the first V-stitch and the right V-stitch and the left V-stitch. So I'm gonna add a stitch marker. I'm gonna add the stitch marker so that we know where to start the row for our hood. Okay, so there, this is the center. I have here 2 V stitches. This is the right and the left. So we're going to start in the right side of the neck part. Okay guys, so I'm just gonna remove the stitch marker on the right side, on the right part. I'm gonna insert the hook, but this time we're using back loop only. So pay attention guys, this is the V or the stitch. Instead of using both loops, we're using back loop only. So I'm gonna insert my hook in this one loop, and I'm gonna insert my hook, attach it. You can use any technique you want to attach your yarn. So I'm gonna chain 3. Chain 3 counts as our first stitch, and I'm gonna skip 1 and make 1 V-stitch in the next, but back loop only again. So again, this is the stitch. We're using this loop only and make the V-stitch cluster. Okay, chain 1. Okay. All right. And then skip the next stitch. Let's remove this. Skip the next stitch and make one V-stitch, back loop only. Okay, and this is the last back loop only that we're gonna make. I need you to take the stitch marker and add your stitch marker on the front loop of that stitch. Okay, so of course we still have the front loop. We're gonna use that later. And now we'll continue with the pattern of skipping 2 and then V-stitch. So just continue, skip 2 stitches, and then in the next make 1 V-stitch, 2 double crochet together, like so. That, and then continue, skip 2, V-stitch. Okay, so I'm just gonna continue doing that, guys. Skip 2 V-stitch, skip 2 V-stitch until you get here. And I'm gonna meet you before you go to this part. Okay, guys, so I've reached the other end. So this is the start. So this is a single crochet, but I'm going to use the front loop. So remember, we use the back loop of that stitch. So here we have the front loop, and we're going to use that to make our next V-stitch. So yarn over, insert your hook in that front loop and make your V-stitch, like so. There you go. Okay, and then we're going to skip, of course, skip 1, and make another V-stitch in the front loop of this stitch. So this is the back loop, and of course there is a front loop here. So make your V-stitch. There you go. And then the last one, of course, we're going to skip another stitch, and then in the last front loop there's only you should have one more left. So just remove the stitch marker and make 1 double crochet in the last front loop, like so. There you go. So they should be overlapping like this. Now to continue row 2. So for row 2, chain 2. So we're going to make a decrease in the first stitch. So chain 2, turn your work. You see, they are overlapping. So chain 2 and then skip 1, 2 stitches, and on the third stitch, so skip the first and then the chain, and here we're going to make 1 double crochet, like so. So you can add your stitch marker here. That's your first stitch, and now we're going to continue with making the V-stitch, 2 double crochet together, two, All right, and I'm just gonna continue working on the rounds until I reach the last stitch. So we're going to make a decrease again. I'll meet you once you have one more V-stitch left. Alright guys, so I reached the end of the row. So I have here one more V-stitch. So we're going to skip that, and on the top of the last last stitch, we're going to make one double crochet. Like so. Okay, now guys, for row 3, and this is gonna be our repeat, the row 3 and row 4. So row 3, chain 3 counts as your first double crochet. Gonna turn our work, chain 3, and we're going to make one V-stitch in each chain 1 space of the V-stitch around, and then lastly one double crochet on top of the double crochet. So row 3 is going to be the repeat of our hood until we reach the measurement for your size. So I'm just going to continue guys working on my pattern until I reach the number of rows for large size. Alright guys, so now as you can see, I have this, and this is the hood of our sweater. So from here to here, I have a total of 26 rows, and we're going to continue with making decrease rows. So 4 decrease rows, but we're only doing that on this side. So fold, let me just remove this first. I'm gonna fold this right like this, and we're going to take the center. So find the center. I have here the center. Add the stitch marker just to make sure that you won't miss it. And then we're going to decrease here. Okay, so what we're making, so I'm gonna start here and end the row here, and then we're going back and forth, back and forth. We're not continuing until the other end, but only until here. So I'm gonna show you that. So our first row of our decrease row. Okay, so to continue, it's gonna be the same pattern. So chain 3, turn your work, and make the V-stitch in each chain space of the V-stitch. Like so. And now I'm just gonna continue working on the same pattern until I reach here, until I have one more V-stitch left. Alright, so now guys, I have one more V-stitch left. So I'm gonna skip 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to make one double crochet in the last stitch. Okay, so let's make one double crochet here, like so. And now we're going to make a decrease row again. Second row, chain 2, chain 2, and turn your work, and chain 2 doesn't count as a stitch. And now we're going to decrease again. So skip 1, 2, skip the stitch here and the chain 1 space, and make one double crochet in the next stitch, like so. And now you're gonna add a stitch marker, stitch marker, and then continue with the pattern of making one V-stitch in each chain one space. Alright guys, so I'm done with row 2. I'm gonna continue with row 3 of the decrease row. Chain 3, because we're not decreasing this row, we're only decreasing this side. Alright, so chain 3, I'm gonna turn my work and I'll continue making the pattern until I have one more V-stitch left. Right guys, so now again I already have one more V-stitch left, so we're going to decrease. To continue, let's yarn over and skip 1, 2, 3 and make one double crochet here on the last stitch, not on top of the chain 3 but in the last stitch right here. Just a double crochet like so. And you can remove this. Chain 2, of course, another decrease, chain 2, and just follow row 2. Okay, chain 2 doesn't count as a stitch. You're gonna turn your work, skip 1, 2 and make double crochet in the next stitch. This is gonna be our last decrease row, or the last row for this side, and then make double crochet, V-stitch, like so. Okay guys, so I just completed the 4th row, so I'm gonna end this now. I'm gonna yarn over and cut the yarn, and we're doing the other side. So it should be something like this in the center. So now we're going to continue working on this side, so let's turn our work, and I'm gonna continue here. So of course guys, this is the center, that's why I did not remove the stitch marker. So we're going to insert our hook in this very first stitch, like so, and attach our yarn. So you can attach it any technique you want. So I'm just gonna attach it like this, and I'm gonna chain 2. Once you attach your yarn, chain 2. Chain 2 doesn't count as a stitch, it's a decrease side, so we're going to decrease. All right, so we're not using this V-stitch, we're going to make one double crochet in the next stitch. So skip the chain 1 space and make one double crochet right here. Oops, just a double crochet. So this is your first stitch, and then add your stitch marker like so. And then we'll continue again with the pattern of making one V-stitch in each chain 1 space until we reach the end, and then lastly one double crochet on top of the chain 3 here. So continue doing that, and I'll meet you when we're ready to do the row 2. Okay, now I'm done with first row of this side, so we're gonna continue. Chain 3 doesn't it counts as a stitch, and then turn your work, and we'll continue making one V-stitch in each chain 1 space until I have one more V-stitch left. So let's do that. Okay, so now again I have one V-stitch left, and I'm gonna skip 1 2 3, and I'll make 1 double crochet in the last stitch, not on top of the stitch marker but on the last stitch here. Alright, now chain 2. Chain 2 doesn't count as a stitch. We're gonna turn our work, and then we'll skip 1 2, including the chain space, and make 1 double crochet in the next stitch right here. Okay, so you can add your stitch marker, and now continue with the pattern, making 1 V-stitch in each chain 1 space of the V-stitch. For the last decrease row, so I'm done with the third row. Of course, I end with a double crochet. Now chain 3 doesn't count as a stitch. We're gonna turn our work, and this is gonna be the last stitch for the hood, and I'm gonna continue with making V-stitch in each chain 1 space. And now guys, I have 1 V-stitch left, and I'm gonna continue making 1 double crochet in the last stitch. So I'm skipping 1 2 3 and make your double crochet in the last stitch like so. Now I'm done. I'm gonna chain 1, and I'm gonna cut my yarn, and finish off. Okay, and I'm going to show you, this is how you can now try to check your work. So this is the collar part, this is the hood. So this is how it should look like, the top of your hood. Fold it into like this. So you should have something like this at the very top of your hood. Now we're just going to sew this together till the end here. So you can use any technique that you want to sew the two together, but you can also use the one that we use when we sew the panels. Alright guys, so you should now have something like this once you're done with sewing the hoodie together. If you do not want to add like the lace or the drawstring over the hoodie, you can just make a single crochet around the edge of the hood. For the next step, I'm going to show you how to add the drawstring. Okay, so lay your work flat like this, and now we're going to start here, the bottom of the hood. So you see guys, this is overlapping, so you want to find, this is the first row. So you see you have a first row, so just insert the hook in that corner of the first row, so the top. So we're starting the second row. Now you can attach your yarn any way you want, and then chain 6. Okay, so 1 2 3 4 5 6. And by the way guys, I also am using a 3.5mm hook, so we need a smaller size hook but not too small, so you can go down from 4 to 3.5 or 3.75. Now that we have 6 chains, we're going to make 1 single crochet in the next 5, so skip 1, and in the second chain, make 1 single crochet. So insert your hook, and then 1 single crochet in the next 4 stitches. Okay, so you should have a total of 5 single crochets. 1 2 3 4 5. And next step, we're going to slip stitch here and here, so the big space and the small space right here. So single crochet, slip stitch 1, insert, slip stitch 2, and then you're going to turn your work, and we'll go back, skip 2, 1 2, and then on the third we're going to make 1 single crochet in each stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we'll just continue that. So chain 1, turn your work again. So we'll be working on the other side, going back, and then make 1 single crochet in the next 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. So after that, we're going to slip stitch again. So we finished here in the small space. So there's a big space and a small space. So we're going to slip stitch here and then in the small space right here. And then we're going to turn our work. We're going to skip the slip stitch that we made. So this is the first, second, and the third stitch. We're going to make 1 single crochet across. So that's 5 single crochet again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See guys, so we'll just continue row 3 and row 4 around the hood. Okay, around until you finish at the very end. So I'll just continue with mine. I'm gonna make chain 1 and turn, and then I'll continue with single crochet, slip stitch, turn, and so on. Alright guys, so I finished all the way around until the last stitch. So I'm just gonna end my row by making a chain 1. Okay, chain 1, and then cut your yarn, cut a long tail, because we're gonna be making, or we're gonna sew this this hood. So I'm just gonna cut this. Alright guys, so now we're gonna use the tail to sew this. So what you need to do is to use some pins. So you need some pins guys, and we're going to use this once we fold. So we're not gonna fold outside, we're gonna fold inside like this. use your pin. Like so. And just use your pin so you can have so here. Okay. So I'm just gonna do that, guys, around the hood. Should be something like this. And now we're gonna use this. Alright guys, so here I'm gonna sew this part. So just the edge part here. So we can keep the hole to insert our strap for the drawstring. Okay. So I'm just gonna sew that part. Just remove this. And I'm gonna continue doing this until I reach the very end or the other side.
Okay guys, so now as you can see, I'm done with mine. And now I have here a Romanian cord, and you can also use any type of stitch you want for your chain, but Romanian cord is what I use. So now I'm going to attach it here. I am using this to insert the strap.
Okay guys, so you just need to keep pulling this until you have something like this. So yeah, that is all, and I really hope you like this video. And if you do, please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel and hit that bell button so you will be notified if you have new tutorials. Thank you and enjoy. Bye.